A cold silence covered the deep space around Orion Watchpoint, a lonely station floating far from every known trade route. Inside the control room, only one person was awake: Lien, a quiet operator who had spent years watching empty space. He never expected anything strange to happen on his shift. But tonight, something impossible reached him. A small red light blinked on his console. At first he thought it was a system error. The station often produced random glitches. But when the light kept blinking in a slow, steady rhythm, Lien frowned and leaned forward. The rhythm felt familiar, almost human. He turned up the audio, and a soft, thumping sound filled the room. Slow, steady, repeating. He froze. It was a heartbeat. Not a machine pulse. Not an engine cycle. A real, human heartbeat pattern traveling through deep space. Lien checked the coordinates again and again. There was no chance a human ship could be out here. This place was thousands of light-years from any human colony. No beacon, no exploration route, no distress calls in the last 50 years. Yet the heartbeat continued. He increased signal clarity, and something new appeared under the pulse, a hidden coded phrase repeating in a whisper-like tone, almost like a voice buried inside the waves. Vessel activated. Humanity must prepare. Lien's hands shook. His mind raced. The message didn't sound like a warning. It sounded like an announcement. Something had awakened. Something connected to humans, and something that was never supposed to wake up. He opened the station log and sent an emergency transmission to the Galactic Council. Within minutes, his screen filled with symbols and alien faces. Representatives of different species appeared, shocked that the signal came from the Forbidden Zone, a dark region of space locked by the Council for 2,000 years. The Council chair, an old alien with crystal-like skin, spoke with a heavy voice. This zone must remain sealed. No life exists there. What you heard cannot be real. Lien replayed the recording. When the heartbeat echoed through the chamber, everyone fell silent. Even the strongest alien captains stared with wide eyes. None of them had ever heard a sound so close to human. One of the elders leaned forward and whispered, "We ended that experiment. How can the vessel still exist?" Lien blinked. "Vessel," he repeated. "What do you mean? What experiment?" The elders avoided his question. The decision was quick. They ordered a full investigation. A research team was to travel to the Forbidden Zone immediately. Something ancient had woken there, and the Council feared it might threaten the entire galaxy. But fear was not the only emotion spreading through the room. Nervous whispers filled the air. For years, many species believed humans were unpredictable, maybe even dangerous. Humans were strong, fast learners, and extremely emotional. Aliens thought humans could one day cause chaos in the galaxy. So they kept secrets from them, old secrets. And now one of those secrets was calling. As the council meeting ended, Lien remained alone in the control room. The heartbeat still echoed softly from his console. It felt alive, almost aware of being heard. It was slow at first, then the rhythm grew stronger, like someone was waking up after a long sleep. Lien stared at the screen as another hidden message appeared, this time clearer than before. Vessel online. Primary directive: protect humanity. His breath caught in his throat. Protect humanity? From what? And why now? He checked the origin marker again. It pointed to an ancient sealed chamber deep within the Forbidden Zone, a chamber built during a time of war, a chamber that should have never opened again. The galaxy had made a mistake long ago, but no one understood how big it truly was. Outside the station window, stars looked calm and peaceful, but something powerful was moving behind that silence. Something human, or something that wanted to be human. Lien felt a chill run through him. He didn't know if the vessel was a savior, a weapon, or a warning. He only knew one thing: the message was not meant for the galaxy. It was meant for Earth. And whatever was coming, humanity had already been called. The heartbeat pulsed one last time. Strong. Steady. Awake. The story of the human vessel had begun. The small research ship Ardent Ray moved through the dark space near the Forbidden Zone, its engines quiet and its lights dim. No one on board wanted to draw attention. Every species in the galaxy had stories about this region, stories of failed experiments, missing crews, and strange signals that made even machines malfunction. But today, a team of scientists, soldiers, and observers had no choice but to enter it. Among them was Tira, a calm and careful xenobiologist. She stood near the viewing window, watching the swirling clouds of dark dust outside. They moved like silent shadows, as if something inside the zone was breathing. Tira had read the ancient records about this place, records the Council tried to hide from most citizens. But she knew one thing for certain: the project created here was shut down in fear. No one expected anything to survive. Yet now, the impossible had happened. A message had been sent, and a heartbeat had traveled across the galaxy. Commander Reth, a tall reptilian soldier, walked beside her. His voice was deep and uneasy. "You heard the recording, Tira. That sound. It should not exist." Tira nodded slowly. "A human heartbeat in a place no human has ever reached. Something created it. Something alive." Reth's eyes tightened. Or something pretending to be alive. The ship continued forward until the stars disappeared behind thick clouds of dark energy. The entire crew felt the pressure in their chests, like invisible weight pressing down. The Forbidden Zone was not like normal space. It felt old, heavy, and angry. As if it remembered what happened here 2,000 years ago. When the Ardent Ray reached the center, something massive appeared on their scanners. A structure floated inside the darkness, shaped like a huge sphere made of living tissue and metal. Parts of it looked organic, like skin or bone. Other parts shined like ancient alloy. Faint lights pulsed across its surface, following the same rhythm as the heartbeat in Lien's recording. The research team gasped softly. No one had expected the chamber to remain intact. It looked like a giant cocoon suspended in the void. Tira whispered, "It's alive." No one answered. Even Reth seemed frozen. The ship's engines slowed, and the docking arms reached toward the organic structure. The moment they touched it, the entire chamber reacted. The surface glowed brighter, as if recognizing a visitor. A soft pulse moved across the structure, and a circular door slowly opened, revealing a long corridor lit with pale blue light. The team entered with caution. The inside felt strangely warm. The walls had patterns like veins, and dim lights flickered with every step they took. Tira kept scanning the environment. "The chamber is self-sustaining," she said softly. "It has energy, oxygen, heat. It has kept itself alive all this time." An alien technician, Luro, stepped forward nervously. "Then why did it wake up now?" No one had an answer. As they moved deeper inside, they reached a wide chamber filled with old machines and pods. Many were broken, covered in dust or fused with the walls. But one pod stood in the center, taller than the rest, glowing with a soft white light. Its glass surface was foggy, but a shape could be seen inside. A human shape. Reth raised his weapon. "This is impossible. No body should survive for 2,000 years. Tira moved closer and pressed her hand gently against the pod's glass. It felt warm, like touching skin. She wiped away a thin layer of fog, and the figure inside became clear. A human-like person, eyes closed, calm expression, connected to dozens of veins and glowing lines. His chest slowly rose and fell. Tira stepped back, shocked. "He's alive. Not preserved. Alive." Before anyone could respond, the pod reacted to their presence. The glowing lines brightened, and the heartbeat sound filled the chamber again. Louder this time, more powerful. The scientists stumbled as the ground vibrated. Old machines around them lit up for the first time in centuries. A voice echoed through the room. Not from speakers. Not from any machine. From everywhere. "Vessel 01, awakening." The team froze. The voice was soft, but it carried across every wall, every panel, every surface. It felt like the chamber itself was speaking. Reth shouted, Step back. Pod activity is increasing. The glowing lines reached their brightest level, and the pod slowly opened. Warm air rushed out. The figure inside took a deep breath, the first breath taken in 2,000 years. His eyes opened. They were human eyes, clear, focused, but too calm to belong to a normal person. He stepped out with slow, steady movements, looking at the team as if he already knew them. Tira felt her heart race. She whispered, "Who are you?" The vessel tilted his head slightly, observing her. His voice was quiet but strong. "I am what your creators left behind. I am built from human DNA, shaped for one purpose." Reth aimed his weapon again, but the vessel did not react with fear. "What purpose?" Tira asked, her voice shaking. The vessel stepped forward. "To protect humanity from what is coming." The air grew cold. The team exchanged confused looks. Tira felt a deep dread in her stomach. "What is coming?" she asked. The vessel looked into the darkness beyond the chamber, as if sensing something far away. "The reason I was made. The reason this place was sealed. The danger the galaxy tried to hide." He raised his head slightly, and his voice lowered. "And now, it has awakened too." The team realized then that the heartbeat was not the only signal in the void. Something else was waiting in the darkness. The vessel stepped carefully across the chamber floor, its movements smooth and precise. Every step seemed deliberate, as if he knew the room and everything in it by heart, even though he had just awoken. The team watched him silently, unable to speak. His presence filled the air with something heavy, almost alive. Tira could feel it in her chest, a mixture of awe and fear. Reth kept his weapon trained on the vessel, but even he could not deny the feeling that this being was beyond normal threat or defense. Its human form should have made it familiar, but something about him was wrong. Perfect. Too calm. Too strong. Not a human, yet made of human flesh. Tira stepped forward, unable to resist. You are alive. How is this possible? We thought humans couldn't survive here, ever." The vessel tilted his head slightly, studying her. "I was never meant to live as a normal human," he said. His voice was soft but carried across the chamber. "I was created to endure, to adapt, to survive. I am the product of the experiment the galaxy tried to erase." Reth's eyes narrowed. "Experiment? You mean, we made this? 2,000 years ago?" "Yes," the vessel said, stepping closer. "The Council feared humanity. They believed humans could not be controlled, could not be trusted. They created me, a vessel, using human DNA. I was designed to protect, to ensure the survival of my kind." Tira's mind raced. Protect humanity? From what? The vessel's gaze moved beyond the walls, beyond the chamber. "From what they cannot yet see. The danger approaches. One that could destroy planets, species, entire civilizations. Only a human vessel, can stop it." The chamber trembled slightly, and the soft heartbeat that had first alerted Lien filled the room again, faster this time, echoing off the walls like a living drum. The team instinctively stepped back, fear and wonder fighting in their hearts. Tira pressed a hand to her chest, feeling her pulse match the vessel's. Luro, the technician, whispered, "If this thing was meant to save humans, why hide it? Why seal it for 2,000 years?" "Because the galaxy was not ready," the vessel said. "Because humans were not ready. And because some feared what I could become." Reth tightened his grip on his weapon. "And now, we're ready." The vessel looked at him slowly. "Now, the choice is not yours. The time for hiding is over. I have awakened. The vessel is active. Humanity's future begins here." Tira swallowed hard. "But what about the Council? They will try to stop you. They will see you as a weapon, not a protector." The vessel's eyes softened, though his expression remained unreadable. "Then they will learn. Or they will fail. The Council created me. They also created the danger. They tried to erase it, but they cannot. I am here because humanity was never meant to be erased. A sudden alarm blared across the ship. Sensors detected an anomaly outside the forbidden zone, a dark energy wave moving faster than any ship could. The team rushed to the viewing window, eyes wide. Clouds of black light twisted through space like smoke, swallowing stars in its path. Tira gasped. What is that? The vessel stepped forward to the window, hands behind his back. The enemy they feared has arrived, he said quietly. It comes for the galaxy. For humans. I was made to face it. And now, I must act. Reth swallowed and lowered his weapon slightly. And us? We're just observers. No, the vessel said, turning to them. You are witnesses. You will see what the galaxy once tried to hide. You will understand why humans are not to be feared, but respected. Why the mistake of the Council must not be repeated. The heartbeat pulsed again, louder and stronger, filling the chamber with a rhythm that felt alive. It was not just a sound anymore. It was a signal, a declaration. The vessel's presence seemed to amplify it, filling the chamber with power. Tira felt a shiver run down her spine. She realized then that the vessel was not just a human. He was something more, an embodiment of human resilience, human will, and human danger. The galaxy had created a being that could surpass the limits of its own creators. Outside the chamber, the dark energy approached faster. The ship's sensors reported massive gravitational disturbances, unnatural movement, and energy readings that no known species could produce. The team had no choice. They would have to follow the vessel into the unknown. The vessel moved toward the exit of the chamber. His steps were steady, confident. We go now, he said. The galaxy does not wait. Neither does the enemy. Tira, Reth, and the rest of the team followed, stepping into the corridor filled with pulsing blue light. As the doors closed behind them, the pod and the ancient chamber sealed shut once more, leaving the darkness outside silent, but not empty. The heartbeat faded, but its echo remained in the minds of everyone present. A reminder that something human, something alive, and something unstoppable had awakened. As the ardent ray prepared to leave the forbidden zone, Tira glanced at the vessel. He stood calm, watching the stars, as if already seeing events far beyond anyone else. She realized that this was more than discovery. It was the start of a story that would change the galaxy forever. The vessel had awakened. And the galaxy was about to face a challenge it had never imagined. The ardent ray moved cautiously through the edge of the forbidden zone, its crew tense. Outside, the stars were swallowed by dark clouds of energy that twisted like living shadows. The vessel walked calmly among them, unaffected by the alarms, the warnings, or the strange gravitational ripples surrounding the ship. His presence alone seemed to stabilize the crew, even as fear pressed on their minds. Tira could not take her eyes off him. He was human in form, but there was something alien in the way he moved, controlled, precise, perfect. Every gesture seemed intentional. Every glance carried knowledge no human should have. Yet, despite this, he spoke with a calm voice, soft but certain. The Council will try to stop us, the vessel said. They fear what they do not understand. Reth snorted. They fear you. They'll probably send an entire fleet to destroy you before you can even leave the zone. The vessel's eyes, sharp and clear, met Reth's. If they try to stop me, they will fail. I am beyond fear, beyond weakness, beyond command. My purpose is singular. Protect humanity. Nothing else matters. Tira felt a chill run through her. The words sounded reassuring, but also terrifying. Humanity. It was a word so familiar, yet coming from him it carried weight, like a warning and a promise at the same time. A sudden alert made the ship shake violently. Sensors detected a massive object moving fast through the clouds of the forbidden zone, an unknown fleet of ships, unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. They had no name, no signature, only a terrifying presence that radiated energy strong enough to warp space around them. Reth, shields up, the vessel said calmly. His voice carried authority, though he had not touched any controls. Reth looked at him, confused. I'm following orders, Reth said, raising his clawed hands to the console. No, the vessel said. I am the order. Watch and learn. Before anyone could understand, the vessel extended a hand toward the approaching fleet. A soft pulse of light traveled from his fingertips through the ship. The energy reached out, almost alive, interacting with the dark ships outside. They trembled, shook, and then, one by one, slowed their movement. The crew gasped. Tira felt her knees weaken. The vessel had not fired a weapon. He had not called for attack drones. Yet the enemy stopped, as if something invisible restrained them. This, Tira whispered. What is that? The vessel did not answer immediately. His eyes scanned the dark energy clouds as if reading them. Then he spoke, calm, firm, almost casual. This is what humans can become. This is the strength of a vessel. We do not need fleets, armies, or machines. Fear, control, and survival are enough to turn the tide. Reth lowered his weapon slowly, realization dawning. You are stronger than all of us combined. Stronger than anything the Council thought they created. The vessel's gaze softened slightly, not for them, but for something far beyond. The Council made a mistake. They tried to hide me, seal me, and forget what they created. But now, the mistake will cost them. And the galaxy will see what humanity truly is capable of. Outside, the enemy fleet hesitated, then began retreating slowly. The dark energy waves that had threatened to swallow stars started to break apart, like glass shattering under pressure. The crew stared in disbelief. The vessel had done nothing violent, yet everything had changed. Tira stepped closer. You saved us. Saved the galaxy. The vessel shook his head slightly. No. I only delayed the inevitable. They will return. And when they do, the Council will realize what they feared all along. Humans are not to be underestimated. Not our strength. Not our will. Not our ability to endure. Reth swallowed hard. So, the Council was wrong. About humans. About you. About everything. Yes, the vessel said simply. They underestimated a species they thought weak. They created a weapon to protect that species, and forgot it could act on its own. That was their first mistake. Their second mistake will be thinking they can control me. Tira could feel the weight of his words. This was no longer about a single mission, no longer about exploration. The awakening of the vessel marked the start of a new era. Humans, once considered weak and primitive by the galaxy, were now a force that could not be ignored. A sudden vibration shook the ship. The vessel's eyes narrowed. The enemy will return faster than expected. Prepare for travel. We leave the forbidden zone. Humanity's survival depends on our next steps. Reth looked at him, awe and fear in his eyes. And we follow you. The vessel turned fully, his gaze sweeping across the team. Yes. Witnesses. Protectors. Learn. Humanity is no longer a hidden story. The galaxy has already made its first mistake. It will not make the second. I will not allow it. Tira shivered. She realized she was standing at the edge of history. The vessel, alive, awake, and unstoppable, had begun a journey that would change everything. And she, Reth, and the crew of the Ardent Ray were part of it, whether they wanted to be or not. Outside, the stars shone calm and silent, unaware of the force that had just awakened among them. A human vessel now walked the galaxy, and nothing would ever be the same. The Council had underestimated humanity, and the vessel was proof of their deadly mistake. News of the awakening spread faster than anyone expected. The Council's secure channels were filled with frantic reports, urgent calls, and scrambled messages. But Earth was still unaware. Most humans were busy with their own lives, their own small problems, and yet far above them, a force they could barely imagine had just been set in motion. On Earth, Tira watched the transmissions from the ardent ray with growing worry. She had been sent as a liaison between the Council and human scientists, but now she realized humans would not need liaison. They were about to become central to something far larger than themselves. She called her old friend, a researcher named Caden, who worked at a remote observatory in the northern deserts. "Caden, you need to see this," she said, showing him the signals coming from the forbidden zone. His eyes widened as he saw the patterns of energy, the strange waves, and the pulse that matched a human heartbeat. This can't be real," he whispered. "It's human. But no human could survive that long in space. This is impossible." Tira shook her head. "It's real. And it's awake. Someone, or something, is coming for us. And it's not the Council sending help." Meanwhile, across the planet, governments and military organizations began to notice strange readings from satellites and deep space observatories. Communications were scrambled for brief seconds, sensors picked up unknown energy waves, and every scanner that detected movement beyond the solar system reported anomalies. Panic and curiosity spread quietly, like the first ripple of a storm. In the Council's chambers, alien representatives argued fiercely. "The vessel is too powerful. We should destroy it before it leaves the forbidden zone," one elder said. "It is not human anymore. It cannot be controlled." Another replied, "If we destroy it, the humans will see it as an attack. We will ignite a war we cannot contain. We need it. But we must manage it carefully." The debate went on, but the vessel did not wait. He had already left the zone, moving toward the edges of the galaxy with the ardent ray following. His mind was clear, focused. His mission was simple: protect humanity, no matter what. The team felt the weight of the task. They were following something stronger than anything they had ever encountered, yet something strangely human. The vessel seemed to know where to go, sensing danger long before sensors could detect it. When the first human transmissions reached them, the team was shocked. Earth scientists were trying to decode strange signals, unknown energy waves pulsing in the solar system. Tira realized that the vessel's presence was already being detected by human technology, even from this distance. Caden finally understood. "It's him. The vessel. The readings are coming from something human. But not human. Something bigger." Tira nodded. "And we have to reach him before anyone else interferes. Governments might panic. Military forces might respond. If they do, it could trigger conflict." The vessel, unaware of the political chaos forming below, scanned the solar system carefully. His sensors detected no immediate threat to humanity on Earth, but he knew that the galaxy's fear was not distant. Forces were preparing. Observers were watching. And some were already plotting to challenge him. On Earth, the first hints of fear began to emerge among humans. News outlets reported strange energy readings in orbit, satellites malfunctioning, and unknown objects appearing and disappearing at incredible speeds. People whispered about alien activity, not realizing that what had awakened was not an alien. It was human, a creation of their own species, more powerful than any warship, any army, any defense system. In the Council, debates grew louder. "The humans must be warned," one said. "They need to understand what is coming." Another snapped, "No. They must not interfere. The vessel is the key. Interference will ruin everything." The vessel observed silently, sensing the tension. He knew humanity was not ready to see him yet, but they would recognize his presence soon. Some would see hope. Some would see danger. And some would try to stop him, believing that humans could never handle the truth of their own creation. Tira watched Caden as he tried to make sense of the signals. "Do they know it's awake?" he asked. "Yes," she replied softly. "And they will soon understand that humans are not weak. That this vessel is proof of what we can become. But fear will make them act rashly. And the galaxy will test humanity's worth long before we are ready." The vessel's heartbeat, still faint in the background, seemed to echo across space, reaching Earth in pulses that humans could not yet comprehend. Every rhythm carried a silent message: protection, warning, endurance. Humanity was no longer passive, no longer hidden. A force had awakened in the galaxy, and it carried their name. Tira leaned back, realizing the truth. The Council made a mistake, she whispered. They underestimated humans. And now, the vessel is proof of it. We're about to face the consequences. In the skies above Earth, satellites picked up the first faint signs of an energy field approaching from deep space. It was invisible to the naked eye, but it radiated power that humans had never measured before. Somewhere out there, a human vessel was moving closer, and the galaxy had already begun to feel the first tremors of its awakening. The humans below still lived their lives, unaware that a force they could barely imagine had already come for them. And the vessel, calm, focused, and unstoppable, prepared for the moment when the galaxy, and humanity itself, would finally understand what had been unleashed. The first reactions were coming. The first choices had to be made. And the story of the human vessel was no longer a secret. It was about to become reality. The vessel moved silently through the void, the ardent ray following closely behind. His calm presence contrasted with the tension growing in the galaxy. Signals from the Forbidden Zone had reached the Council, and they were scrambling to respond. Alien fleets were mobilizing, communications flooded with warnings, and every species in the galaxy felt the ripples of something they did not fully understand. The vessel observed it all with quiet focus. He knew fear was the galaxy's weakness. It had been the Council's weakness 2,000 years ago, and it would be the galaxy's weakness now. He did not act out of anger or revenge, he acted out of purpose. Protect humanity. That was his only directive. Tira and the rest of the team followed silently, sensing the rising tension. They had seen what the vessel could do, and they knew he was unlike anything else in the universe. Yet even with his power, there was a weight in his steps. A responsibility that no human had ever carried. Suddenly, a warning alert sounded across the ship. Multiple fleets from different species had entered nearby space, forming a barrier. Sensors indicated ships armed with weapons far beyond the Ardent Ray's capacity. The Council had decided to intervene. Reth's claws twitched over the console. They're trying to stop us, he muttered. They don't understand what they're dealing with. The vessel did not answer immediately. He raised his head slowly, eyes scanning the fleets. His voice was calm but firm, cutting through the tension like steel. They will learn. They will see what humans are capable of. And they will know the truth before the battle begins. Tira felt a chill run through her. Do you plan to fight them? She asked quietly. The vessel's gaze did not waver. Not yet. First, they will listen. If they refuse, then I will act. Humans are not to be underestimated. The galaxy must understand that the Council's fear was misplaced. Humanity is strong. Humanity endures. Reth shook his head. And if they don't listen? They will, the vessel replied. Or they will be reminded why humans survive where others fail. As they approached the outer edge of the fleets, the vessel activated a communication signal. Unlike the Council's cold, coded transmissions, this signal carried an unmistakable human voice, clear, commanding, yet calm. It resonated across space, reaching every ship, every station, every listening eye. I am the human vessel, the voice said. I exist to protect humanity. The galaxy has feared my species, underestimated my people, and tried to control what cannot be controlled. That mistake will not happen again. Hear this warning: a force approaches, a danger beyond your understanding. I will face it. I will endure. And any who threaten humanity will face the consequences. Silence followed. No one moved for moments that felt like centuries. The fleet stared at the signal, uncertain, fearful, and unsure how to respond. Tira could feel the tension vibrating through the ship, the quiet but undeniable weight of power. Then, an alien representative transmitted a response. The human vessel is alive. You claim to protect humans, but your power is unknown. Do not test the galaxy. The vessel's response was simple, unshakable. I do not test. I act. Fear is not a choice. Survival is not a threat. Humanity will endure. That is all you need to know. Reth turned to Tira, whispering, "They're not going to back down. They think they can intimidate him." Tira nodded, her voice trembling slightly. "And they're about to find out how wrong they are." Outside, the fleets shifted nervously. The vessel's signal carried something more than words. It carried authority, presence, and a subtle but unmistakable display of power. Sensors aboard alien ships detected energy fluctuations, strange distortions in space, and pulses that seemed alive. Each heartbeat, each word, carried strength they could not measure, strength they could not contain. The Council's representatives argued frantically. Some wanted to retreat, fearing what they had underestimated. Others insisted on attack, believing the vessel could be controlled, subdued, or destroyed. Confusion and fear spread across the galaxy like wildfire. The vessel's eyes scanned the horizon. He had sensed the approaching danger long before the fleets moved. He had calculated the risks, prepared the path, and now he was sending a warning. It was not a threat, it was a statement of fact. Humanity was no longer passive. Humanity had a protector unlike any other. Tira watched, realizing the weight of the moment. The vessel was not just a being of power, he was proof of the galaxy's first mistake. The Council had tried to hide the potential of humans, underestimated them, and sealed away a force that now stood awake, calm, and unstoppable. Reth muttered, "The Council will regret this. They don't understand what they've awoken." The vessel turned, his gaze piercing, almost gentle yet unyielding. "Let them learn," he said softly. "Let the galaxy see that humanity cannot be ignored, cannot be controlled, and will endure whatever comes." Outside, the fleets hesitated. The vessel's calm presence, his warning, and the invisible display of power created doubt. Some ships slowly moved back. Others maintained formation, unsure whether to attack or retreat. The ardent ray moved steadily alongside the vessel. Tira felt the tension in her chest ease slightly, knowing that as long as the vessel led, humanity had a chance. But deep in the dark reaches of space, the real danger waited, unseen and powerful. The vessel had warned the galaxy, and now the challenge was clear. The Council had underestimated humans once. The question remained, would the rest of the galaxy survive the lesson? And somewhere, beyond the fleets, in the silent emptiness of space, the heartbeat of the human vessel continued, steady, calm, and unyielding. The dark wave of energy moved faster than anything the galaxy had ever seen. It tore through empty space like a shadow with purpose, ignoring the fleets, ignoring planets, ignoring warnings. The human vessel sensed it before anyone else. The heartbeat within him pulsed faster, sharper, as if calling him to action. Tira and Reth watched from the ardent ray, awe and fear mixing in their veins. "Is it the enemy?" Tira whispered, barely audible. The vessel's eyes narrowed, scanning the void. "Yes," he said simply. "The danger I was created for, it has arrived. Nothing else matters now. Humanity's survival depends on what I do next." Reth gripped the console tightly. "It's huge. Too huge. No ship, no fleet, nothing can stop that." The vessel stepped to the edge of the ship, looking out into the darkness. His calm presence seemed to reach across space, touching the storm of energy as if he were pulling it into understanding. "They will learn," he said. "They will see what humans are, what they can create, what they can endure." Suddenly, the wave of darkness split, and a shape appeared within it. Massive. Living. Metallic. Organic. Impossible. Ships and energy dissolved in its presence. The Council's fleets scattered, powerless. It moved toward the solar system, toward Earth, toward humanity. The vessel moved first. Without hesitation, he leapt from the ardent ray, his body glowing with energy that bent space slightly around him. He did not carry weapons, he did not need them. His very presence pushed the dark wave back, a force invisible yet undeniable. Tira and Reth watched from the ship as the vessel's heartbeat pulsed faster, filling space around him with rhythm, light, and power. The enemy hesitated, confused, unable to understand the force it faced. The vessel spoke, not to the enemy, but to the galaxy, to the humans below, to every observer. I am the human vessel. I exist to protect humanity. You cannot destroy what was meant to endure. You cannot erase what was created to survive. Then he struck. Not with weapons, not with fire, but with energy, controlled and pure, a pulse that radiated from him like a wave of light. It collided with the dark mass, tearing it apart in segments. Pieces of the shadow dissolved, twisted into harmless particles, scattered across the void. Tira gasped. He's destroying it, without fighting like a normal battle. Reth's eyes were wide. He's unstoppable. The enemy reformed, larger and faster this time. The vessel's heartbeat synchronized with the rhythm of the universe, faster, stronger, sharper. Every pulse carried power, strategy, and control. The dark energy could not hold. It could not resist. And then, with a final surge, the shadow broke apart entirely. Nothing remained. Only calm space stretched beyond the horizon. Silence returned. The galaxy held its breath. The vessel floated in the emptiness, breathing slowly, calm as ever. He had faced the unimaginable and survived, untouched, unshaken. Humanity had been protected. Tira whispered, barely able to believe it. He did it. He really did it. Reth lowered his claws slowly. No fleet. No weapon. Nothing could stop him. And yet, he saved everything. The vessel turned his gaze toward Earth. His eyes softened slightly, though his expression remained unreadable. The galaxy must learn, he said. Humans are not weak. They endure. They survive. They protect what is theirs. In the council's chambers, alarms continued to ring, and alien representatives scrambled to assess the aftermath. Many were fearful, some awed, and others furious. The truth was clear. Humans had created something beyond understanding. Something that even the council could not control. Back on the Ardent Ray, Tira realized the weight of the moment. The vessel had not just defeated the enemy. He had shown the galaxy what humans were capable of. Strength, intelligence, and endurance, all concentrated into a being that could not be stopped. Outside, Earth remained unaware of the battle that had just occurred in the stars above. But humans would soon feel the impact. Technology had detected the pulse, the energy, the presence. People would know something had awakened. Something human. Something unstoppable. The vessel's heartbeat slowed, returning to its steady, calm rhythm. The enemy was gone. The galaxy had learned its first lesson. The council had underestimated humanity. The mistake had been costly, but it had also proven a truth the universe could no longer ignore. Tira looked at the vessel. "What now?" she asked softly. The vessel turned to her and Reth, calm and confident. "Now, we prepare. The universe will continue to test humanity. Other dangers will come. But the first lesson is clear. Humans endure. Humans survive. And humans protect what matters most." He stepped toward the ship, ready to return. The Ardent Ray followed him back through the calm, now peaceful, space. The galaxy had faced a force it had tried to ignore, tried to erase, and failed. The human vessel had emerged, alive, powerful, and unstoppable. And somewhere in the quiet of space, his heartbeat continued, steady and strong. A warning, a promise, and a signal to the galaxy. Humans were no longer myths. They were real. And they were deadly when awakened. The First War was over, but the story of humanity had only begun.